part of London. Obviously, I don't know if you call this the centre of London, central London, or obviously it's the River Thames, St Paul's Cathedral behind me, Tate Modern up ahead of me. So it's a very central location. It's a very popular part of a very famous city. Loads of people stream through here every single day, wanting to go into a free museum, wanting to see an historic cathedral, and also wander along the river. And lots of people also come this way to go to Tower Bridge, obviously another very famous part of the city with Tower of London there as well. So it has heavy footfall, and also it's a river channel, and rivers are known across the world in large cities as being a draw for all sorts of different types of activity, as well as people and their motives. And there are different reasons why somebody will be found along here. Now, when I follow policing closely, which is what this channel is mainly about, I've had to come here on a number of occasions because police staff and officers who work in London know that this is a hotspot, not for large numbers of criminals, but it is definitely a spot where criminals will want to come to. A number of them will have a plan in their head to make their way here, to try to pick off people, to try to do some people spotting. Criminals in London are known for people watching. They hang around. They may be in a coffee shop. I think it's more likely they'll be outside in a public area, and they will be watching the human traffic, and they will be looking for the type of person that they pick off, that they press in on. I've also been told that that type of individual is more likely to be a nuisance in a neighborhood. So they apply their efforts in a neighborhood, and they also come into the center of a large city to do the same thing, um, but in a slightly different way. So they're moving their crime into the center and then moving it back out to where they usually try to do it before detection, before they can be arrested, and what they've done be investigated. So this is a particularly interesting spot for new recruits, for trainees. They're told usually about how to come to somewhere like this to do some on-foot surveillance, to learn about um, the, um, the energy that there is maybe in the local criminal scene, to learn about what types of gains or profits people are looking for. Is it straightforward? Is it money? Or is there something else? What is the motive of the individual? So, as well as being a nice place to come and stand and take some photos and go inside some public institutions, or look at some landmarks, there's also a sinister side to it, but it's not the main point. In all of the crime that's reported here, some of the reports that go through to police call centres isn't actually about a crime itself. It's about the suspicion or the threat of a crime that somebody's felt or seen. Of all the reports, there aren't that many actual crimes that officers have to look into, but this is a good research spot. I've known of some officers that have excelled in their job because they've come to somewhere like this, and they've managed to follow the individuals out, and they've actually done more work by putting in a bit more time between finding them and arresting them or questioning them, because they followed them back to where they do the main bulk of their activity, and they've also researched that, interviewed people, local residents, obtained evidence, CCTV footage, and brought much more to the table than what would have been maybe a suspicion or a few incidents of crime here. So police officers, if they really want to do well, they have to learn how to research, adding some more time into their job, and doing that so that there is so much more to look at when they try to bring the law to bear on an individual. And that is a good way of doing it in a city like this. I've been told that early morning policing, if a police officer has particular work to do, offers small windows of opportunity. I've also been told that arrests in the early morning in London are often cleaner and more straightforward, but the window of opportunity is much shorter. Beyond early morning, there are large periods of time that they can use to follow and to assess the situation. Um, but they have to be very focused and they have to make sure they don't lose sight of that person. I've also been informed that in the evening, um, while there are reasons why policing becomes very difficult as the city moves on into the evening, um, there are types of policing that actually come into their own. And so there are some officers that have to make sure that they're watching their back as it gets dark, but there are others that have to make sure that they're taking up the opportunity to resolve some of the cases that they're working on. I knew of somebody a number of years ago who had been working on a very large case involving a whole office building that had been occupied by just one company, but there had been some extreme difficulties, and she had to work out obviously what had gone on and who had done it and what they had been doing and how. And one evening came along, and there were some indications that there was information relevant to her case coming up. And lo and behold, she managed to solve most of the case um, in that one evening. But she was being attentive, she was being aware, she remembered. That would likely be the case because information flows through places at different speeds at different times, depending on the day. And she was ready to catch it. And because of that evening, the case was progressed properly and it got to court and was seen through efficiently. And so that's an insight that I got into the nature of this work that we call policing. um, it really has to find its place, but it really depends on the individual doing that, constantly knowing how they have to pursue these people who are not out for an innocent day. They're out at the same time, but they're out to try and take advantage of it.